Ben clutched his list. He was prepared. He was sure these were the answers Father Baehr wanted. Now was not the time, but it was the only hour of the day he saw the man. Father worked so hard. Ben was here to save him from an early death by overwork. The coffee was ready in the kitchen, and Timon's coffee cake placed predominantly beside. With a quick prayer and a touch of his grandmother's picture, Ben was ready as he'd ever be. He walked out of his room, but had to pull up short as Father Baehr emerged from his. A hand raised as if to warn off the apocalypse. Father Baehr croaked one word. "Coffee." Ben backed off and let him stumble into the kitchen. He heard the sound of coffee being poured. Maybe later would be better, but if he got this unpleasantness over with now, the rest of the day would be smooth. The rustle of packaging being opened, followed by the clink of a plate on the table. The youth group would be so happy if this worked. So would the grade school kids. Even Father Baehr would be happier. The scrape of the chair along linoleum. All was ready in the kitchen. It was time to leave his hiding spot in the living room and stand tall. "Good morning, Father Baehr." Ben tried to make it all seem so normal. He passed by the table to get himself a cup of coffee, though he could not imagine drinking it with so much riding on this conversation. "I hate to do this to you so early in the morning, but it seems like this is the only time of the day where I get to see you. The Oktoberfest committee meeting is tonight. I have some suggestions, but I'd really like to run them by you first." With another grunt and a wave of his hand, Father Baehr motioned Ben to continue. Now that the initial approach was over, it began to get easier. "I looked at the festival with fresh eyes, just as you asked. The early focus was all on making money, which we do need, but I thought, what would I do if it was only about making the parishioners happy? It turns out we don't really have anything for the children who are about ages 8 old and up. The games and rides are all geared to younger kids and their parents. Up top is mostly gambling, so they have to be 21 to play." He got up and began to pace. "The opposite of this is the empty nesters. They don't have kids to play with, and for those that are losing their hearing, the music is way too loud. Most of the ones I talked to said they bought the raffle tickets just so that they didn't feel guilty about not going to the festival. They missed the days when this was just a church picnic." Father Baehr was nodding now. "The other thing I noticed was that some people drink a lot of beer then drive home, just like you said. Aside from the legal problem of responsibility, it's just not moral. If we do this, we need to find them safe rides home." Father Baehr was almost smiling. This was going much better than Ben had anticipated. "My proposal is to add some games for the older kids. A video game tournament playing something like Super Smash Bros. In the media center, and a dodgeball game using foam balls in the cafeteria. For the adults, set up a tea garden up near the outdoor stations of the cross. The mother of preschoolers offered to run it if the seniors will take care of their kids." Yes, he really was smiling. Ben should have left the quiet place for last. It was clearly his strongest argument. For the overindulged, I think it would be great if the youth group members who have licenses drive them home in their own cars. That way, they don't need to find a ride to church the next day. Father Baehr's face clouded over. Which part of that was a problem? With a drag of coffee and a deep inhale, Father Baehr began. "You need to come up with a different solution, both for the youth group and for drivers. That part just won't work at all. I also don't like the idea of the inside video game. Children should be outside having fun. But don't change your proposals. Take them as is to the committee, but bring along a backup plan for each thing, especially the teen driver program. I can tell you right now, that one won't fly. But if you give them something to shoot down, that will make it easier to get your other changes in. People have been running the Oktoberfest the same way for ages, so if you don't give them an obvious no, they'll say no to one of your ideas that is really good." He shifted in his seat, looking longingly at the coffee cake box. Father Ben took the hint, getting up to leave the room. "And one more thing. Good work and good luck this evening." With that, it was done.